Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, we're going to be learning the piano classic Chopsticks. So I would say this arrangement is suitable for the seasoned beginner. It's got a few tricky things such as a bit of movement. So we've got some big jumps up and down the neck, but we're going to be talking about some tips for tackling that and stabilizing the neck too while we move up and down. But this song also serves another really great purpose. Oftentimes when we're performing for someone and we pick up the uke and they're like, play us a song, we always sit there and we're like, I don't know what to play. Well, if you play Chopsticks as your first tune for someone, it's guaranteed to get a chuckle and a smile. So it's a great icebreaker tune. So I've got this arrangement split up into two themes. So you can think of theme one as the first half of the tune and theme two as the second half of the song. So in this lesson, which is part one, we're going to be learning theme number one in its entirety. And we're also going to be learning theme number one as you saw in the performance, which is suitable for concert and tenor size ukuleles. But I'm going to also teach you how to play theme number one if you have a soprano ukulele. So we're going to learn two ways to play theme number one so we can cover the whole gamut of ukuleles. Now, if you guys would like to learn the second half of the tune, we're going to be covering that at rockclass101.com. So you can click this link right here to check out the second lesson, or you can go to the site and do a search for Chopsticks. There you're also going to be able to find the tabs that you can print off and follow along with, as well as access the on-screen tab viewer. Now, this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, watch the tabs scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset in learning this song that much easier. All right, so let's go ahead and kick into this lesson. So the first thing I want to talk about is that Chopsticks is a waltz. So that means that we're going to be playing in 3/4. So that means that we are playing 3 beats per measure, quarter note gets the beat. So the majority of the rhythms that we're playing are quarter notes, and there's a couple half notes sprinkled in. So if you're new to understanding rhythmic notation and counting and playing at the same time, then go ahead and hit pause on this lesson and check this one out real quick and then come on back. It's going to help you comprehend everything that we're about to cover that much better. So the next thing I want to talk about is our right hand finger picking approach. So for all of theme one, we're using a 2-finger approach. Now, most people will either use the thumb and the index finger or the thumb and the middle finger. So let's break that down. So that means that your thumb is going to be playing every note that's on string 4 and string 3. Your index would play every note that's on string 2 or string 1. So that's if you want to use these 2 fingers. If you want to use these two, then the thumb is the same. Thumb is string 4 and string 3, but your middle would get string 2 and string 1. So for example, if I use these two and I play the first couple bars of this theme 1, you can hear how it's, or see how it's a 2-finger approach. Okay, so all of theme 1 is a 2-finger approach, but when we get to theme number 2, we're going to be using a 3-finger approach. So we'll talk about that when we get there. So the last thing I want to talk about is this song is literally just going from G7 to C. So the whole progression, the chord progression is G7, C. You have 2 bars of G7, 2 bars of C, 2 bars of G7, 2 bars of C, 2 bars of G7, 2 bars, so blah, 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 blah. You get the point. So that's all this song is doing. It's literally jumping from G to C. So as we move forward, keep that in mind too. So let's go ahead and kick into the first part. So I'm going to play the first 4 bars and we'll break it down. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, so you can hear it just doubles what happens. So the first 2 bars are identical, then bar 3 and 4 are identical. So let's go ahead and learn it. So the first chord, we're just playing out of a G7, just that stock G7 chord, but we don't need all these fingers. All we need is our index finger. So take your index finger, put on the first fret of string 2, and we're gonna play the 4th string open with it as well. So we're plucking 4th and 2nd string together. We have all quarter notes, so we're literally playing 1, 2, 3, and that's bar 1. And bar 2 is the same, so you're going to double that. So you have another 1, 2, 3. So if we try those together, we had 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's bar 1 and bar 2 together. So let's have you and I try that together. So we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now let's see if we can boost that tempo up just slightly. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Cool. Now our next one is going to be playing out of the stock C chord. But again, we don't need everything of the stock C. We're only playing string 4 and string 2, which happen to both be open. So we're doing the same thing we did for bar 1 and 2, where we're playing it twice in a row. So you're going to pluck 4 and 2 together, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to do it again for the fourth bar, 1, 2, 3. So that's bar 3 and 4. So let's try that together. We just have open 4 and open 2. So starting on bar 3, this many, and going to bar 4. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So let's try it again a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Cool. So now let's try 1 through 4. So bars 1 through 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind too while you're playing this is to try to hit both notes at the same volume. So you don't want one to ring out louder than the other. Think of it how it's performed on piano. You know, usually you have two people sitting at the piano, and that's what makes it fun. But they're both hitting the same volume, at the same volume. So that's something key that you want to keep in mind. So try to make your plucks even. All right, so let's look at the fifth bar. So we're back to G7. So this time around, think of it as the basic shape for G7, right? But again, we don't need all the fingering, so we can lift our index finger up. So that means we're left with the middle finger on the second fret of string 3 and the ring finger on the second fret of string 1. So let's do this. Let me play the fifth and the sixth bar, and then we'll break it down. And watch how I lift up in bar 6. So it's quick. Let me show you that again. Okay. So bar 5 is just plucking the double 2s. So bar 5 is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's give that a shot. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now bar 6 has that lift up. So bar 6, we pluck the double 2. We lift up for the opens. We're going to be plucking open 3 and open 1. And then we put back down and we pluck double 2. So that beats fall like this. It's 1, 2, 3. So you have down, up, down. So double 2, open, double 2. Okay? So all quarter notes throughout this, no rhythm has changed so far. So let's give that a shot, bar 6. And one thing to keep in mind, when you lift up, you don't have to do this giant lift up. See how I lift up just a little bit so I can be ready to come back down and play the double 2 in time. So don't do a huge lift up. So bar 6, 1, 2, 3. So we have down, up, down. Awesome. Again, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, and let's try 5 and 6. Remember, 5 is held down the whole time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now let's try 7 and 8. So here's what it sounds like. Goes back to C. Okay, so you can see we're starting on basic C, and we're having our ring finger on the 3rd fret of string 1, and we're plucking the open 3rd with it. So we're plucking 3 and 1 together. So we've got 3 of those in a row for bar 7. So we have 1, 2, 3. So this is always the hard one with the open C. It tends to ring louder than any other note on the ukulele. So work on plucking that so that they're even volumes. So you don't want to hit the 3rd string as hard. So that'll help make it a little bit lighter in volume. So we've got 3 in a row. Let's try bar 7. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now for bar 8, we're starting off on the same pluck. So open 3rd and the 3rd fret of string 1. Then we're going back to what we played for G7. So literally all you're going to do is scoot that ring finger back to the 2nd fret of string 1 and take your ring finger, put it on the 2nd fret of string 3. So you're plucking 3 and 1 together. And then you're going to lift everything up and you're going to pluck 1 and 2 open. So watch this movement. I've got C to this G7 to the opens. Open A and open E. So 1, 2, 3. So key things to keep in mind, just that ring scoots down and the middle comes down. So that's the easiest way to do it. You don't have to go ba-ba, just scoot down and drop the middle finger. So let's try bar 8 together. We have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now let's see if we can go 7 and 8 together. Here we go. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Now let's see if we can do 5 through 8. And then we're going to try 1 through 8. And that's half of theme 1. So it was that easy, guys. So here's 5 through 8. And this starts on the G7. So double 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Very good. Now let's see if we can go 1 through 8. So from the very top, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Very good. So start slow with your tempo, something like that, before you try to boost it up. The key thing here is that we want to keep it nice and even. That's what makes this tune sound so great. It's all the same rhythms, so they all last the same amount of time. So that's key. So you can use the on-screen tab viewer, or you can use a metronome to help you keep in time. And if you have a good sense of timing, then you'll be able to feel the beat. You'll be able to tap along and count along as you play, just like we're doing in the lesson. So the second half of theme number 1, so bars 9 through 16, jumps up higher on the neck, and that means that if you are playing this song on a soprano ukulele, you're not going to be able to play some of it because you can't play past the 12th fret. That's where your ukulele ends. So we're going to talk about an alternative of what you can play right now. But if you're learning this song on a concert or a tenor ukulele, then skip to here to continue the lesson. All right, so soprano players, what you're going to do is you're basically going to double or repeat the first 6 bars that we just learned plus the first hit, so beat 1 of bar 7. So that means you're playing this. You're playing 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7. Just that first hit of bar 7. But remember, since this is repeating, this is technically bar 15. So let me go ahead and play what 15 and 16 sound like, but that's all you're doing for the first 6 bars. So you're just doubling what you just did. So here's what the alternate ending, so bars 15 and 16, sound like for soprano ukulele. All Alright, so that's what it sounds like. Let me play it a little bit slower and count it out. And one thing I want you to keep in mind is that on beat number 2, we're not playing anything, we have a rest. So slowly counting it out, it sounds like this. And this is the top of 15. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So this bar is going to start with your ring finger on the 3rd fret of string 1. So we're playing out of C. So we're playing the 1st string plus the 3rd string open together. That's beat 1. Now beat 2, we don't play anything. So beat 3, all we're going to do is move the ring finger up to the 3rd fret of string 2. Play that plus the open G together. So 4 and 2 together. So there's bar 15. So we have 1, rest, 3. Okay, so let's give that a shot. You and I. 1, 2, 3. 1, rest, 3. Okay, now for 16, we're going back down to the 3rd fret of string 1, but this time around we're plucking that plus the open E together. And then we have again a rest on beat 2, and we have a big jump. So this is our first big jump up the neck. So in the beginning of the video, we mentioned that we were going to discuss a couple helpful tips for moving up and down the neck. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So the first tip is to memorize the dots on your neck. So if you notice, they print the dots on the fretboard right in the middle. So the first dot is the 3rd fret, the second dot is the 5th fret, the 3rd dot is the 7th fret, the 4th dot is the 10th fret, and the double dot is your 12th fret. Now, the thing with beginners is I often see them kind of tilt the ukulele down and stare at the dots like that, but keep in mind they print them on top of the neck as well. So you don't have to move from the playing position at all. You can just look at the very top of the neck to see the dots. Now some ukuleles do not have a dot on the 3rd fret. It starts on the 5th fret. So unfortunately I don't know what you have, but you may have to adjust your memorization to match the ukulele that you have. But generally we have 3, 5, 7, 10, 12. So 12 is always our double dot. So if I have to jump up like this last hit, which goes to 8 and 7, then if I know I have to go to 7, then I know it's 1, 2, 3rd dot is the 7th fret. So when I'm going up there like that, a quick jump, I can keep my eye staring at that 3rd dot, and that's going to help guide my left hand to know where to go. So I don't have to follow my left hand up the neck. I keep my eye on the dot and move my hand till it meets the dot. So that's a first great tip. So the second tip that I want to talk about is all about stabilizing the ukulele. So as we're playing throughout this piece, we want to make sure that our neck is steady and it's not moving. So we don't want to have any kind of movement as we're playing. So if it's like this and starts to fall or tip up and down, that's going to make it way harder to play. So check out this lesson right here. It's all about proper left hand form, and it's going to cover in detail some ways for your left hand to help stabilize the neck, as well as making sure that you're holding the ukulele properly. So check out that lesson for some of the tips, and let's keep going with this last bar for 16. So let me go ahead and play 16 all the way through, and then we'll learn it with that last hit up here. So here's what 16 sounds like. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so again, remember we're starting on the 3rd fret of string 1 with the ring finger, playing the open E above it, so we're plucking those 2 strings. Then for beat 2 we have nothing, and then for beat 3 we're going up to 8th fret on string 2 with the ring finger, and 7th fret on string 1 with the middle finger. Okay, so again we have 1, 2, 3. So since this is a little tricky, you can just practice those 2 bars. You want to get the muscle memory down, going from here to here. So you have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can just loop that, and you can go slow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So even slower than that would be great to start with. So just getting the muscle memory down for that jump. Remember using those dots to help you go navigate throughout the fretboard. So let's try 15 and 16 together. So we've got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now let's see if we can try the last 4 bars. So 13, 14, 15, 16 together. So we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So the second half of theme 1 is literally playing the same thing that we just learned, but up an octave. So it gives it a nice contrast, a nice variation in sound. So let me do this. Let me play the first 4 bars and then we'll break it down and learn it. Very simple for the first 4 bars. Okay, so we're going to start off playing out of a G7. We're taking the middle finger, putting it on 8 on string 1. Playing that with the open G note together. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you have 2 times in a row, all quarter notes. So let's give that a shot. That's the first 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you and I, here we go. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so for the next bar, we're literally just going to drop down to the 7th fret. So you can slide that middle finger back to the 7th fret of string 1, and you're gonna do the same thing 2 times in a row. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this time around, the only difference is it's on the 7th fret of string 1, but you're hitting the open G alongside it as well. So let's try the second half. So we have 7s twice in a row. So this is bar 11 and 12. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So let's try bars 9 through 12 now. Here we go. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. There's one thing I want to go ahead and point out too before we learn the next 4 bars or the last 4 bars for theme number 1 is that when you're transitioning from bar 8 to bar 9, going up to this higher voice, it is quite a big jump that you have to do. So if I play bar 8 to 9, I had... So you've got to catch it, especially if you're tackling it at a faster tempo, it's going to be really tricky. So in the beginning of the video, I mentioned we were going to discuss some ways to tackle the fretboard and tackle some of these jumps easier. So the first tip is to memorize the dots on your neck. So if you notice, they print the dots on the fretboard right in the middle. So the first dot is the 3rd fret, the second dot is the 5th fret, the 3rd dot is the 7th fret, the 4th dot is the 10th fret, and the double dot is your 12th fret. Now, the thing with beginners is I often see them kind of tilt the ukulele down and stare at the dots like that, but keep in mind they print them on top of the neck as well. So you don't have to move from the playing position at all. You can just look at the very top of the neck to see the dots. Now some ukuleles do not have a dot on the 3rd fret. It starts on the 5th fret. So unfortunately I don't know what you have, but you may have to adjust your memorization to match the ukulele that you have. But generally we have 3, 5, 7, 10, 12. So 12 is always our double dot. So the first hit we learned was the 8th fret. So if I know my 3rd dot is 7, then when I'm jumping up, I can use my middle finger 1 fret past the 3rd dot. So it makes it so much easier. So if I keep my eye locked on that 3rd dot, I know I just have to be 1 fret above it. And there you go. And that makes my jump so much easier. So the second tip that I want to talk about is all about stabilizing the ukulele. So as we're playing throughout this piece, we want to make sure that our neck is steady and it's not moving. So we don't want to have any kind of movement as we're playing. So if it's like this and starts to fall or tip up and down, that's going to make it way harder to play. So check out this lesson right here. It's all about proper left hand form, and it's going to cover in detail some ways for your left hand to help stabilize the neck, as well as making sure that you're holding the ukulele properly. So here's what bars 13 and 14 sound like, and it's got a bit of a stretch, so we're going to talk about that in a second, but let me go ahead and play through these two bars first, then we'll break it down. Alright, so that's what it sounds like. So first off, we've got to take our index finger, put on the 10th fret of string 2, and our pinky on the 14th fret of string 1. So a bit of a stretch right here. Now it's not super hard, but if you're not used to playing anything that requires this much of a gap, then you want to check out this lesson on increasing your left hand reach. It's got 3 really great exercises for getting used to doing some bigger movements with the left hand, or some wider stretches with the left hand. So again, go ahead and take that index finger, put on 10 on string 2, which we now know is our dot before the double dot, and then our pinky goes on the 14th fret of string 1. So we're going to go ahead and pluck that 3 times in a row. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so from here, going into the next bar, we're starting out with the first beat, the same hit, so we're plucking 10 and 14, and then we've got to go down a whole step, so you're subtracting 2 from both of these, which means that we end up playing 8 and 12. And then we go back up to where we just were, which was 10 and 14. So we have 1, 2, 3. So this one is probably one of the hardest bars in the tune, because a lot of people struggle with keeping that shape intact and moving it up and down the neck. So one way you can practice this is just to loop this one bar, and you want to really focus on keeping the index and the pinky without moving. So here's what I see people struggle with. One finger will come out of, it'll come out of place, right? It's supposed to be there. So you want to move each one individually. You can go by half steps to get used to it. But you see how these fingers do not go anything like that. So that's the hard part that I see people struggle with. And one trick that I'm doing too is I keep my thumb glued right in the middle. And that kind of helps me just keep this spacing intact. You can see how this pivot happens. So it kind of pivots down and then comes up like that. So it just helps me make this a little bit more accurate. So that's one that you want to practice on. So keep that spacing intact, so you have 1, 2, 3 frets in between these 2 fingers. Alright, so if we try those 2 bars together, remember the first was just staying on it for 3. 1, 2, 3. Then the second bar we had ba, ba, ba. Same, down, back. So let's try those 2 bars together. We have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now let's see if we can tackle the last 2 bars of this theme number 1. Sounds like this. So again, a lot of movement, especially in this one. It's probably the most movement in the tune. So this one, I also want you to keep in mind that this is bar 15 and 16. Beat 2 of both of these bars, we have a rest. We don't have anything that we're playing. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can hear on beat 2, we have nothing that we're playing. So keep that in mind too. So we're going to start off with the 12th fret of string 3 with the index finger, and 15 on string 1 with the pinky. So we're playing 3rd string and 1st string together. So that's beat 1 of bar 15. Then for beat 2, we play nothing, but that gives us enough time to move all the way down to the 3rd fret of string 2 with the middle finger and the 4th string open. So that falls on beat 3 for bar 15. So you have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so use those guiding dots to help you. So you have 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's try that together real slow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now for bar 16, all we're going to do is we're going to literally drop that middle finger down to the 3rd fret of string 1. We're going to play string 1 plus the open E together. That's beat 1. And then again, remember for beat 2, we're pausing. We're doing another jump up the neck until it becomes a higher voiced of a C. So this jump up the neck, you can think of it like this. If you were to make a basic G chord, and you move this up the neck a whole step, it becomes an A. You move it up another whole step, becomes a B. And you move it up another half step, it becomes a C chord. So if that blew your mind and you've never moved chords up the neck before, then check out this lesson on the cage method, because it teaches you how to move these common chord shapes that you play 1,000 times up the neck, and you can play these beautiful higher voice chords that just sound so beautiful. Like when somebody plays a C chord, instead of copying them, you can play a higher voicing of that C chord and create a harmony. So it's really useful stuff. So we have our ring finger on the 8th fret of string 2, middle finger on the 7th fret of string 1. That's our last hit, so that's beat 3. So if we look at bar 16, we start out with the 3rd fret of string 1 and the open E. That's beat 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so again, you want to just use those dots to guide you. So if you know you're going to 8 and 7, use that 3rd dot as your guide. 1, rest, 3. Okay, so if we try 16 together, we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And slower. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So if you want to put a little rest in for beat 2, you can take the palm of your hand, touch the strings as you play. So 1, 2, 3. Right? Or you can sustain it if you want. 1, 2, 3. Up to you. So if I want to pause on beat 2 or rest on beat 2, I just touch the strings with the palm of my right hand. And it cuts the notes out. So if we try 15 and 16 together one time by myself, try to get that in your head. Ba, da, da, da. Okay, and then if we try together slow, we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. So now let's go ahead and try the last 4 bars for the second half. So we're going to kick off on 13 and go all the way to 16. So remember, this starts with that stretch chord. We have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. And I lied. Let's go ahead and try bars 9 through 16 one time through. So here we go. 9 through 16. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. All right, guys, so that's everything for this lesson. And if you'd like to learn the second half of the tune, well, we're going to be covering that in the part 2 video lesson at rockclass101.com. So just go to the site, do a search for Chopsticks, or you can click in the description box below. I put the link right there for you. And don't forget that at that page, you can also get the tabs that you can print off, follow along with, and access to that on-screen tab viewer, so the interactive tab player. Really, really cool feature for learning this song that much easier. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in part 2. Thanks.